Chosen one, let me tell you something you may have felt in your spirit, but never had the words to explain. Wherever you go, the darkness begins to weaken. The demons that once raged against you, the same spirits that tried to break you, lose their grip the moment you step into the room. They can scream, they can whisper, they can circle, but they cannot prevail because your very presence disrupts their hold. Have you ever noticed how tension rises when you walk into certain spaces? Have you seen how people suddenly shift? Conversations falter, or hidden hostility surfaces the moment you enter. That is not coincidence. That is not paranoia. That is your holy mark shaking the very atmosphere. Demons sense it before humans do. They know the authority you carry, even if you're still learning it yourself. They know the light you radiate, even when you feel surrounded by shadows. They know your voice carries weight, even when you've been silenced, chosen one. You've been tested in fires most people wouldn't survive. You've walked through storms designed to drown you. You've stood in battles that left others destroyed. But here you are, unshaken, unbroken, undefeated. And that's why the demonic realm has taken notice. That's why demons recognize you, before you recognize yourself. They remember every time they tried to crush you and failed. They remember every time you should have lost your mind but instead found strength. They remember every time you were supposed to give up, but instead, you rose higher. To them, you are not ordinary. To them, you are dangerous. That is why their power weakens around you. Demons are parasites. They feed off fear, chaos, doubt, and confusion. But chosen ones carry a different energy. You carry clarity where there is confusion. You carry faith where there is fear. You carry order where there is chaos. And when your spirit collides with their schemes, they lose strength. It's like fire meeting ice. The ice cannot remain. Think about the rooms you've been in. How often do secrets come to light around you? How often do masks fall off? How often do hidden enemies reveal themselves without you saying a word? That's not because you exposed them, it's because your presence made it impossible for darkness to hide. The light inside you forces what is hidden in the shadows to come forward. Demons lose power in your presence because the truth you carry makes lies suffocate. But chosen one, here's the part most people don't understand. This has cost you something. You didn't wake up one morning and suddenly become someone demons fear. No, you were shaped through suffering. You were marked through pain. You were sharpened through isolation. While others were celebrating, you were in the wilderness being broken and rebuilt. While others were living comfortably, you were on your knees learning how to survive storms. While others were distracted, you were being refined in silence. And now, every scar on your soul testifies to the power you carry. That's why demons lose power around you, because they already tried their best to destroy you in the secret seasons of your life, and you came out stronger. They have no strategy left. They already used the storm, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the loss, the loneliness. They already threw their hardest punches, and you're still standing. What can they do now? They can't break what's already been tested. They can't kill what's already resurrected. They can't silence what heaven has commanded to speak. Chosen one, your presence is not passive, it's warfare. The very atmosphere changes when you walk in, and deep down you've always felt it. That's why some people can't stand being around you, though you've done nothing to them. That's why certain friends turned into enemies without reason. That's why family members rejected you, workplaces became toxic, relationships fell apart. The demons influencing those people couldn't handle your light. They couldn't control you. They couldn't manipulate you. They couldn't drain you anymore. And so they fled, or they attacked. But either way, they lost. This is why you can't downplay who you are anymore. You've spent too long second-guessing yourself, too long questioning your value, too long trying to fit in. But chosen one, the mark on your life makes fitting in impossible. You were not created to dim your light for the comfort of others. You were created to shine so brightly that demons scatter. You were created to walk with such authority that atmospheres bow. You were created to live with such clarity that confusion dissolves. You were created to be recognized, not by man first, but by heaven and hell. And make no mistake, hell recognizes you. That's why the battles came early. That's why the warfare has been relentless. That's why your childhood wasn't like everyone else's. That's why pain has been your teacher since the beginning. Because demons saw your potential before you did. They saw the call on your life before you even understood what it meant. They saw the holy fire in your spirit before you could put it into words. And they've been trying to put it out ever since. But what they didn't realize is this: every attack only lit you brighter. Every attempt to weaken you only made you stronger. Every storm only sharpened your faith. Every loss only birthed new strength. And now, when they see you, they tremble. Because they know the truth, their power is useless in your presence. Their schemes are powerless against your spirit. Their lies collapse in the face of your discernment. Their chains break when you lift your voice. Chosen one, this is your reality. You are the breaker of cycles. You are the curse destroyer. You are the generational chain snapper. You are the light bearer in a world full of shadows. You are the one they fear because you cannot be controlled. And that's why they lose power around you. Because you walk with a holy authority that no demon can withstand. So hear me now. Never doubt your presence again. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Stop silencing yourself to avoid conflict. Stop hiding your fire because people don't understand it. You were chosen to shift atmospheres, not blend into them. You were chosen to make demons tremble, not to make people like you. You were chosen to disrupt darkness, not entertain it. This is your identity. This is your calling. This is your reality. Demons lose power around you, and they always will. Chosen one, demons lose power around you because you've learned how to survive without their systems. The world is built on control through fear, control through lies, control through temptation. But you've been through so much pain that fear no longer paralyzes you. You've been betrayed so many times that lies don't control you anymore. You've been tempted with things that used to captivate you, but now they don't even move your spirit. And when you stop being moved by the things demons use against the masses, they lose their grip. You've outgrown their chains. You've outgrown their bait. You've outgrown their illusions. That's why they panic when you walk into the room. They remember when you used to be vulnerable, when you were still blind to your power, when every attack felt like it could kill you. They remember when fear gripped you so hard you could barely sleep, when depression whispered you had no purpose, when anxiety convinced you you'd never make it. But you walked through those storms, and something happened. You realized you could not be broken. You discovered your survival was not an accident. It was evidence of your divine assignment. And once you recognized that, every demon that had power over you lost it. You see, demons don't just attack your circumstances, they attack your perception. If they can convince you you're weak, you'll never fight back. If they can make you believe you're cursed, you'll never rise. If they can blind you to your mark, you'll never step into authority. But the moment you realize who you are, they scatter. Because demons can't thrive in the presence of awareness. They depend on your ignorance. They depend on your silence. They depend on your doubt. And chosen one, you no longer live in ignorance. You've seen too much. You've endured too much. You've survived too much. You know too much. That's why environments shift when you arrive. At first, you thought you were imagining it. The awkward tension, the unspoken hostility, the strange jealousy that didn't make sense. But it was never about you personally. It was about the light you carried, the holy fire on your soul. People influenced by darkness feel it before they can explain it. They may not even know why they feel uneasy around you. They may smile in your face but avoid your presence. They may talk behind your back yet imitate your path. It's not really them, it's the spirit behind them reacting to your mark. Chosen one, you've probably noticed this. Your energy exposes hidden motives. People who pretend to love you can't keep the mask on long when you're around. Their intentions, eventually, reveal themselves. That's your spiritual radar at work. Your presence strips the disguise. Demons hate this because they thrive in deception, but you are a carrier of truth. And truth is the one thing they cannot survive in. Think about the times you've been left alone. The nights you cried, wondering why people abandoned you. Why circles closed their doors. Why friends turned cold. You thought it was rejection, but in reality, it was protection. Demons pushed those people away from you because they couldn't control you anymore. They lost their influence, so they had to flee. Some of them were only in your life to distract, delay, or derail you. And once you grew too strong, their assignment ended. It wasn't personal, it was spiritual. Your very existence is a contradiction to everything hell planned. They planned for your silence, but here you are speaking. They planned for your destruction, but here you are alive. They planned for your despair, but here you are carrying hope. You were never supposed to make it this far, and yet you have. That alone should tell you how unstoppable you are. And chosen one, your journey is not just about survival anymore. It is about walking in authority. Demons no longer fear your pain, they fear your awakening. They fear the moment you realize that every battle you endured was training. They fear the moment you realize your scars are your weapons. They fear the moment you stop running from your calling and start walking in it boldly. Because once you know who you are, once you fully embrace your power, once you stop doubting the holy mark on your life, they lose all influence. This is why your name is whispered in rooms you've never entered. This is why your presence lingers even after you leave. This is why your spirit carries weight that others can't explain. Because you are chosen, and chosen ones don't just survive in this world, they transform it. They shift it. They rewrite the atmosphere simply by existing in it. So the next time you notice tension rise when you walk in, remember, that's your light at work. The next time people act strange around you, remember, it's not them, it's the spirits behind them reacting to your mark. The next time you feel resistance in your environment, remember, it's because demons are losing their power. And chosen one, they will always lose. Chosen one, now that you see it clearly, you can never unsee it. Demons lose power around you. This isn't theory, this isn't a guess. It's truth proven by every season you've survived. You've witnessed it, the way darkness trembled when you kept standing, the way manipulation collapsed when you refused to bow. The way storms lost their thunder when you walked through them unshaken. You thought you were weak, but in reality, You were shaking. Kingdoms look back over your journey. Every season you endured carried a hidden message. You are not ordinary. Ordinary people do not survive what you survived. Ordinary people do not rise from ashes the way you did. Ordinary people do not carry the kind of light that exposes darkness without speaking a word. You, chosen one, are proof of divine authority on earth, and the reason demons lose power around you is because they know it. Do you understand what that means? It means you've already won battles you didn't even realize you were fighting. It means the very fact that you're still alive today is evidence that no weapon formed against you could prosper. It means the reason you felt such heavy resistance is because of the holy fire within. You, a fire that hell cannot quench. But chosen one, now it's time to stop doubting. Stop shrinking. Stop pretending you don't see what you see. You have felt atmospheres shift when you enter. You have seen masks fall off. You have felt the tension in rooms that couldn't contain your spirit. That is not your imagination. That is your reality, and it's time to embrace it fully. The world has tried to convince you that you are powerless, that you are small, that you don't matter, that you should be quiet, polite, and invisible. But heaven and hell both know the truth. You are marked, you are chosen, and you are dangerous to darkness. Demons don't recognize everyone, but they recognize you, and when they recognize you, they lose power. That is why your presence feels so disruptive. You don't even have to try. Your very existence is resistance. Your survival is rebellion. Your authenticity is warfare. Every breath you take is proof that hell failed. And chosen one, this is why you cannot go back to who you used to be. The days of hiding your light are over. The days of shrinking to fit in are gone. The days of doubting your value are finished. You have stepped into awareness, and that awareness changes everything. Demons lose power around you because your faith is no longer fragile. It has been tested, crushed, stretched, and refined until it became unshakable. When others would have broken, you bent but did not snap. When others would have drowned, you learned how to breathe underwater. When others would have quit, you discovered strength you didn't know you had. That kind of resilience is terrifying to darkness, because no matter what they throw at you now, you will rise. And every time you rise, their grip weakens. Not chosen one, never underestimate the authority of your voice. Your words are not casual, they are not empty. They carry weight in realms you cannot see. When you declare life, darkness trembles. When you speak truth, lies collapse. When you call on divine authority, chains snap. That is why demons tried to silence you. That is why they tried to break your confidence, to keep you quiet, to convince you that no one would listen. Because they knew if you ever opened your mouth with full awareness of your power, entire atmospheres would shift. And now, that time has come. So speak boldly, live boldly, pray boldly, walk boldly. Because every step you take strips power from the enemy. Every breath you draw in defiance of despair steals ground from darkness. Every day you wake up and choose to rise again is another day hell loses. Your life is proof that the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness cannot overcome it. Think about it. Demons feed off fear, doubt, and confusion. But you, chosen one, are a carrier of peace, faith, and clarity. When you walk into spaces heavy with fear, your spirit introduces courage. When you encounter people drowning in confusion, your presence introduces truth. When you face situations designed to paralyze you, your steps release freedom. You don't even have to force it. It radiates from who you are. That is why they lose power. They cannot feed on someone who refuses to be consumed. And chosen one, this is not just about you. You carry something for others. Your survival wasn't only for your own sake. It was so you could become a beacon for those still trapped in darkness. You are the one who walks into atmospheres and shifts them. You are the one who carries hope into hopeless places. You are the one who can stand in the middle of chaos and release peace. That's why you were chosen. And that's why demons fought so hard to stop you. But they failed. They failed in your past. They failed in your present. And they will fail in your future. Because once you realize they cannot touch your destiny, once you embrace that their power is only illusion, once you stand firm in the truth that light always wins, they lose all authority. They may whisper, they may roar, they may attack, but they cannot prevail. So, chosen one, lift your head high. You've been through enough battles to know who you are now. Stop apologizing for your fire. Stop shrinking for the comfort of others. Stop doubting the authority you carry. You were not called to blend in. You were called to stand out. You were not called to bow to fear. You were called to strip fear of power. You were not called to hide your mark. You were called to shine it boldly so the world can see what light really looks like. And yes, it will make people uncomfortable. Yes, it will make enemies rise. Yes, it will draw battles. But never forget, demons lose power around you. No matter how loud they scream, they cannot touch your destiny. No matter how many attacks come, they cannot stop your calling. No matter how many shadows gather, they cannot quench your light. You are chosen. You are marked. You are unstoppable. The time has come. Walk like you know who you are. Speak like you know who you are. Live like you know who you are. Because when you do, demons will scatter. Their grip will break. Their chains will fall. And you will finally see with your own eyes what has always been true. Darkness loses every time light walks in. Chosen one, the world is waiting for you to rise. Hell is terrified of you rising, and heaven has already crowned you to rise. So rise, rise with fire, rise with courage, rise with authority. Because when you do, the whole atmosphere shifts, and demons, they lose power every single time. You are the chosen one, and nothing, not fear, not pain, not demons, not darkness, can touch your destiny. This is why you've always been different. This is why you don't fit in anywhere, no matter how hard you try. This is why normal life has never worked for you, because you were not sent here to blend into the system. You were sent here to break it. You are a glitch in the matrix of darkness, a disruption in the cycles demons use to enslave humanity. Your existence is resistance. Your survival is rebellion against hell itself. And that's why they lose power around you. Remember this, light never argues with darkness. It just shines, and darkness flees. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You don't have to explain your calling. You don't have to justify your existence. Simply by being who you are already dismantling strongholds. Simply by walking into spaces, you are already weakening demonic influence. Simply by speaking truth, you are already destroying lies. Your presence is warfare, and your mark is unstoppable. And chosen one, do not underestimate what happens when you speak. Your words carry weight that cuts through spiritual atmospheres. You've probably seen it. You spoke life into someone who was broken, and suddenly their eyes lit up. You prayed over someone, and they felt peace they hadn't known. In years, you declared something over yourself, and doors opened that no man could shut. That's not coincidence. That's not just kindness. That's your authority being recognized in the unseen realm. Demons hear your voice and tremble, because they know it carries heaven's echo. But here's the truth you must embrace. Your journey is not over. You're only stepping into the beginning of your authority. Everything up until now has been training, preparation, sharpening. You thought you were fighting just to survive, but survival was never the end goal. The end goal is dominion. You were created not just to endure darkness, but to command it to flee. You were created not just to resist demons, but to strip them of power. You were created not just to survive storms, but to still them with your voice. Demons lose power around you because your destiny requires it. How else could you fulfill the assignment over your life if darkness still had the ability to cage you? You were sent to free others, so you had to first break free yourself. You were sent to bring light, so you had to first walk through darkness. You were sent to carry power, so you had to first learn what it means to be powerless. Every attack, every setback, every wound, it was all molding you into someone untouchable. And now that you are awake, you will never be the same again. Chosen one, never forget this. Your authority is not based on titles, wealth, or recognition. It's not about applause, followers, or fame. It's rooted in your scars. It's rooted in your wilderness. It's rooted in the nights you bled but didn't break. It's rooted in the times you wanted to quit but chose to rise. Your authority is born from suffering, and that's why it cannot be stolen. Demons lose power around you not because you are perfect, but because you are real, you are authentic. You've embraced your brokenness and turned it into strength. You've embraced your flaws and turned them into testimony. You've embraced your weakness and let it become the channel of God's strength. And no demon can fight that kind of authenticity. They can't manipulate someone who has nothing to hide. They can't deceive someone who has already faced that darkness and come out victorious. They can't enslave someone who already knows the taste of freedom. This is why you terrify the unseen realm. Not because of your perfection, but because of your persistence. Not because you never fall, but because you always rise. Not because you have all the answers, but because you carry unshakable faith. They don't fear your mistakes. They fear your resilience. They don't fear your scars. They fear the story your scars tell. They don't fear your past. They fear the destiny your past prepared you for. And so here you are. Chosen one, a walking contradiction to everything demons wanted to achieve. You are still standing, still breathing, still rising, still glowing, still chosen, and every day you wake up, they lose more power. Every step you take, they lose more influence. Every prayer you whisper, they lose more ground. Every act of love, every word of truth, every decision to keep moving forward, it strips them of their authority. You are not ordinary. You are not here by chance. You are not weak. You are a chosen one. And wherever you go, demons lose power. Because light does not bow to darkness. Darkness bows to light. Chosen one of the greatest mysteries of your life has always been this. Why do people around you suddenly change when you step into their space? Why do strangers look twice at you, sometimes with curiosity, sometimes with discomfort, and other times with hostility? Why do certain people distance themselves even though you've only shown them kindness? It is not random. It is not accidental. It is spiritual. You carry an unseen fire, and when that fire enters a room, every hidden spirit attached to the people in that space feels it. Demons cannot remain comfortable when a chosen one is present, because your very existence reminds them of their defeat. You see, demons are not afraid of religion. They are not afraid of empty words. They are not afraid of rituals or traditions. What they fear is authority. And chosen one, authority is something you carry without even realizing it. You didn't gain it by memorizing verses, by quoting chants, or by going through motions. You gained it in the furnace. You gained it in the fire of your trials. You gained it in the silence of your tears. You gained it in the lonely night when no one believed in you, but you kept standing. That authority is not given cheaply, it is forged. And once it is yours, no demon can ignore it. That's why the people in your life who are influenced by darkness often couldn't stand to stay close. It wasn't you they hated. It was the way their demons suffocated in your presence. When you enter, the atmosphere shifts, and the spirits influencing them lose control. The manipulation they used to hold over you doesn't work anymore. The guilt trips no longer keep you bound. The intimidation no longer silences your voice. And so, those people retreat, because the spirits behind them have been stripped of power. Chosen one, remember how you used to be a prisoner of fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of being alone, fear of not being good enough. Fear was once a leash demons used to keep you small, to stop you from rising into your power. But now, though fear still whispers, it no longer rules you. Walk with courage born out of suffering, and that terrifies the enemy. A fearless, chosen one is unstoppable, because fear is the root of control. Without it, demons lose their grip. You've probably noticed this too. Chaos cannot survive long in your presence. The arguments that erupt when you leave suddenly dissolve. When you return, the lies people spread get exposed without you lifting a finger. The manipulations people attempt crumble into the open. That is because your energy carries order. You are aligned with a higher frequency, the frequency of divine truth, and wherever truth enters, lies suffocate. Wherever order enters, confusion collapses. Wherever clarity shines, deception dies. You don't even need to say a word. Simply, by standing firm in who you are, you shift everything around you. And yet, this calling has not been easy. Because being the one who shifts atmospheres means you've spent most of your life misunderstood. People thought you were too intense, too different, too serious. They said you were too sensitive, too spiritual, too much. But chosen one, you are not too much. You are exactly what this world needs. They were only uncomfortable because your presence forced them to confront what they wanted to avoid. When you walk into darkness, you expose what's hiding. And not everyone wants to face their truth. That's why they push you away. That's why they reject you. That's why they mock you. But all along, it was proof of your light. Demons lose power around you, not just because of what you carry, but because of what you survived. You've walked through betrayals that could have destroyed your trust forever. You've endured losses that could have broken your heart beyond repair. You've been abandoned, overlooked, underestimated, yet here you are, still standing. That resilience itself is a weapon, because demons don't know what to do with someone who refuses to stay down. They can knock you down, but when you rise, they lose ground. They can strip you of things, but when you rebuild, they lose influence. They can silence you for a season, but when you speak again, your words carry thunder. Chosen one, you must understand this. Your survival was never just about you. It was about your destiny. Every storm you endured was preparing you to become a living testimony. Every fire you walked through was preparing you to show others the way out. Every chain, You broke was preparing you to free those who are still bound. And that is why demons lose power in your presence, because you are a threat to their kingdom. You are not only free yourself, you carry the power to free others, and that terrifies them. This is why the battles have felt so personal. This is why attacks came not just from strangers, but from the people closest to you. This is why your family turned against you, why friends betrayed you, why relationships collapsed. Because demons knew if they could wound you deeply enough, you might bury your calling forever. They thought if they struck at your heart, you'd never rise again. But chosen one, you rose. You're still rising, and every time you rise, they lose more power.